Okay. We have one yo in the chat. Hello. Let us know when we're doing all the you can hear us, you can see us. I almost said you can smell us. Well, like, how would you like going through the like senses in my
YouTube
brain?
smell-o-vision.
Yeah. Can you feel us through the screen? I'm losing it. It's fine. Okay. Yes. Hello, Michelle. Hello, George. Hello, Min. Hello. Welcome.
Is that
Hello.
Cyclops? As in, like, Cyclops?
Maybe. How do you prefer your name, your handle? Tag? Handle? That's a handle, right? That's what you call this? I'm super fresh on the internet. I don't know. I'm going to pretend I know what's going on. We Tinguish. That's fair. Nemo. Hello. Okay, so we have no Jake today. Jake is gallivanting right now. I mean, I don't know if they're actually...
Dumbledore.
Yeah. Some form of that. But our plan for today is still the same as what we were saying last week, which is, yes, Jake is hanging out with the cats. Yes. Much better company than us, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately for us.
Last time I was in Istanbul, I came across a dog with two noses, which sounds like the setup for a joke, but it's not. There was actually a dog with two noses.
Wow.
And I hope that dog's still there.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
It was almost unnoticeable, but if you looked straight on at it, it had like its nose kind of bifurcated, and you could see like two distinct sets of nostrils.
Yeah. Oh, we do have one really important question. Are there Pillar World cats? There are not cats as you would know them, but there are dragons that fit a similar niche to cats, and they're very cute. They're based off those... Wait, you might just know this off the top of your head. Bib, what are the cute Muppet-faced pterosaurs?
Oh, Anirognathus?
Those. They're inspired off those, and they're going to be precious and very fuzzy. Okay, yeah, dragon cats.
Anirognathus are great. It's a shame that Walking with Dinosaurs, I don't know why the reconstruction they used was so hideously wrong, because they could have, if they had introduced Anirognathus when it first aired back in 1999 and actually done a decent job of representing it, I think they would have become wildly popular.
They're so cute. They're just like, they're so cute. Merhaba. Will they have multiple snoots? I don't know. Oh, well, yeah, Jake's in the chat. Jake can let us know. But the one thing that's mildly... Well, I don't even know how much am I gonna... I'll be mildly cryptic for now until I make a decision that's not on screen. On a live stream. But we have a goal now of trying to get to the point where we can do naming stuff for P1. And what I can say, well, I guess this kind of gives it away a little bit, but whatever. Oh, wait, hold on. You can't see what I'm looking at. That would help. Okay, where do we want to be? Over here. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Much better. We are going to be moving this, if you can see C there. I don't know if you can actually see that, but like this right here, C, we are going to move that from C over to P1. So that means we actually know a ton about the people and the culture and everything that's going to be there and the story that's going to be there. So we actually have lists of things that we can make words for, which I think Jake will be very excited about. This is the grand reveal of that part. But yeah, I don't know. So now we're going back to trying to make classifiers, get that stuff worked out, and then we'll figure out the P1 sound changes, and then we can name stuff. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that is about the size of it.
Okay. Very good. Okay.
So I did a little bit of prep work
Okay.
If you go to the Karartas tab and then down at the bottom, I have assembled a list a little bit above the bottom. I thought it was at the very bottom, but
Oh,
there it is.
Whoa.
So I went through, I just had a brief glance at some of the languages that I am familiar with that have verbal classifiers and just wrote down some of the most common ones. Um, and so, depending on how broad or specific you wanted the classifiers to be, we could have anywhere from like 4 to 50. Like,
Okay.
it's just, yeah, whatever you feel, whichever distinctions you feel would be the most pertinent to the names that we're going to be making. So some of them are more likely than others. Like having one for humans is, I
Mm.
think, kind of unavoidable.
Mm.
Conceivably, you could split that into male and female as well, although in my experience, that's actually not one of the more common distinctions when it comes
Mm.
to, at least with verbal classifiers.
Okay.
So we're probably going to have that one.
Okay.
With animals, there's quite a spread because Navajo does have classificatory verb stems that they work a little bit differently than the way we're doing classifiers in this language, but they lump
Okay.
in all animate things, including humans and all animals, into just one classifier. But you can definitely have a distinction between just humans and animals, or you could subdivide animals into small animals and large animals. Um, or you can make finer distinctions. Like I threw in that maybe there could be like a separate classifier specifically for bugs or insects or arthropods or however you wanted to phrase it.
Mm.
And then conceivably, I was thinking having a specific classifier for dragons is a little bit uh, taxonomical, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of
Yeah.
the time, you don't see classifiers for like specific groups of animals, but you could conceivably have a classifier for like flying animals because they're kind of different from the other animals. Um, in fact, this reminds me of a random anecdote. A friend of mine who lived in Japan for a while was with a friend, and they were in, I can't remember which museum it was, in some like natural history museum somewhere in Japan. And my friend was asking her friend, what classifier do you use for turtles?
Ooh. Okay.
And her friend, who was a native Japanese speaker, said, "Oh, well, for turtles, you use the small animal classifier."
Okay.
By the way, Japanese does not have verbal classifiers. I want to make that clear. It has numerical classifiers, different thing, but it's the same kind of idea in how
Mm-hmm.
they divide up the world into different semantic fields. But then my friend was like, "Oh, but some turtles get pretty big. Like a leatherback turtle. That's a big animal. You'd still call that small?" And her Japanese friend was like, "Yeah, I think we would just universally use the small animal because turtles, like archetypically, are small animals." But
Mm.
then they walked into the next room in the museum, which had a fossil of Archelon, which is this gigantic, like 10-foot long, extinct giant sea turtle.
Mm.
And my friend was like, "Well, what about that? You're going to say that that's a small animal?" And the Japanese friend said, "No, because for that one, we would use the dinosaur classifier, even though it's not a dinosaur because it's extinct."
Brilliant.
And I want to say this is an anecdote, secondhand. So I know very little about Japanese, so I don't know how accurate any of that is. But according to one native speaker, that is the way of things. So
Very good.
the point of that is just to say, like, we don't necessarily need to be very like cut and dry with like if we had like one classifier for dangerous animals and another classifier for flying animals, then
Yeah.
dragons could be kind of a mix and match. Some of them could be flying, some of them could be dangerous, or there could be even like individual variation based on like the whims of the speaker.
Right. Okay. Okay. I think that makes sense. Okay. There's a lot of opportunities here. I've never done anything with classifiers before, so I've seen a couple of the Booba streams about classifiers and a couple other things about classifiers. So like I'm generally aware of the concept, but this will be interesting for me to think about.
I have only really had a go at a proper verbal classifier system one time in a Lothwy, and I admit that I did cut a few corners in a few places that I'm not proud of. So I don't know. We'll see
This
how
is your
it goes.
redemption arc, Bib.
Oh, I hope. I hope. I will do my best, as I always do.
Oh my gosh, David.
Unrealized dreams and goats. I don't know if that typo was intentional or not, but
I think it is intentional.
So
Yes.
yeah, the likely things that you'll make distinctions for are humans, animals, possibly different types of animals. We've already got a word for words and language because we needed that for the name of the language.
Yeah.
For different shapes of objects, this one is very, very common in verbal classifier systems. Like all of the systems that I'm familiar with have a distinction, particularly for the small round object one. That one comes up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just go ahead and throw in that it very often comes from the word for rock.
Okay.
Just in, I know that's the case in Nahuatl and in at least one other language. I know I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be fairly straightforward. Then another pretty common one is for long, slender objects, and we have the option of splitting that into two. One for stiff, slender objects, like a pole or a rod or something, and one for long, flexible things like rope. And you got sheets, large, heavy objects, sharp objects, which I had a little bit of an idea for this one because a decent origin for that would be a word that means tooth. And then if you had a word for tooth, then that could overlap with the one that's further down for mouth and jaws, because you do see that sort of polysemy happening with these classifiers a fair bit. Can I think of an example on the spot? Like in Navajo, for reasons that I don't know, the classifier that you use for long, thin things is also the one that you use for things that naturally come in pairs. I have no idea why.
Huh. And I mean, that's actually kind of interesting, though. Like, for a pair of pants, I mean, y'all call them trousers or whatever, but like that could, it's one thing, but like, it could be interesting.
It could be just because a lot of things that naturally come in pairs are like long and flexible. Things like, trousers or socks or things. Or
yeah.
I was about to say snakes. Snakes don't come in pairs.
They could. Maybe in Pillar World they do.
I don't know. Yeah. Are there any monogamous snake species? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe in Pillar World there are.
Yeah. So are there any that like particularly catch your eye that you're like, we definitely need one of these?
I mean, my first thought is, would there be a classifier? So obviously this isn't a real world thing, but like there is magic in Pillar World in different forms in different places. Would there be a classifier for that?
There could be. And that actually brings up an interesting point that I don't want to complicate things too much, but in a lot of languages, so like Nahuatl has a very straightforward system. There's only two classifiers, one for humans and one for non-humans, and that's it. And most of the time, they specifically refer to the direct object. So like the word for teacher is te machtiani, and that te at the beginning means to do with people, and machtiani means to teach. So it's literally a teacher of humans. So that's very straightforward. But in more complex systems, sometimes you have a distinction between you have a specific set of instrumental classifiers, which specifically means the thing that you use to accomplish the verb. So like Comanche and Kashaya have this, where there's a classifier that specifically means like by hand, not just hand on its own, but like when you do the action by hand, then there's a specific classifier for that. So if you wanted, we could have like a whole parallel set of like, this is what I did in Olothway. There's a series of direct classifiers, and then there's a series of instrumental classifiers, and then Olothway also has a series of locative classifiers too. But if we had 3 like combining sets of classifiers, that could get pretty complex.
Yeah.
The alternative that I can immediately think of is that we could have some applicatives on the verb. So are you familiar with applicatives?
No.
An applicative, it's funny, it took me so long to wrap my head around what applicatives are, just because the explanations that I read were really confusing, but it's very straightforward. An applicative is a thing that you put on the verb to mean that the verb doesn't happen to the object, it happens in some other way to the object. So like, just off the top of my head, you could say something like, thinking. What's a good example? You could say, if you wanted to say something like, I fight the enemy using a sword, let's just say. So in this example, the object is the enemy, right? And the sword is the thing that you are using to fight the enemy.
Yeah.
You could imagine just skipping over the object entirely and just say, I fight using a sword. And then over time, the fight and the using kind of get stuck together. So we end up with a verb that means a verb like fight use, and that means to fight using something. Or in other words, I guess the English translation would be like to wield.
Yeah.
So, like, I fight use sword, if you see what I mean. So that adds like an instrumental meaning to the verb. So if you wanted to say something like a word for a mage or like a spellcaster, would be to you could just take a word that means to do, just a very simple word, and then put like an instrumental applicative, and that means to do something using something else. And then if you put the magic classifier on top of that, then that doesn't just mean to do magic, it means to do something with magic, to use magic to do something. And then you put like whatever the human ending is. So that's a human who uses magic to do things. So yeah, you could totally just have a series of applicatives that kind of combine with the classifiers to refine the meaning a little bit.
That's very interesting. So like high level, first impression, I feel like that's really fun. Second thought though is would we be able to use that in the naming of anything?
Yeah.
With the verbs.
I think so. Like if you wanted to say, I don't know. You could, if you had like a type of dragon that lived in the forest or something, or just anything that lived in the forest, really, you could have a verb that means to live. And then conceivably, you could just stick the classifier for forest or maybe trees or something. And that could work fine. But if you really want to specify that it lives in the trees, you could put like a locative, applicative, or like, that's not a great example, or what about like eat? That's a better example. Because if you just say eat with the tree classifier, that means the thing that eats trees. But if you want to say the thing that eats things in the trees, then you could put a locative applicative to mean that the classifier is where the action happens, not the thing that is receiving the action.
I like that. I think we should definitely make a note for potentially doing this, because I feel like that would be really fun and allow a lot of like, I feel like that could be really useful. And I do like the point Jake made. The biggest barrier to making grammar into names is remembering that you made it. We did have some notes earlier too that I want to mention. Where was the original comment? Michelle was pointing out we could have a classifier for things that are chartreuse. And then David says all classifiers could be color terms. And then Jake said there are Amazonian classifiers, which are color sensitive. So we could consider that having classifiers for like some color groups.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It reminds me a little bit of in Navajo, there is a specific derivational pattern that you can apply to things to get across the sense that it has been affected by evil magic.
Ooh, okay.
So I just remember one example in a grammar I read once where it's the word for star, and then you attach this prefix, and it's now an evil star that's like associated with dark magic, which I just think is just a very fun derivational thing.
That's fun.
Yeah, so we can have applicatives if and when we need them. So yeah, where do we go from here? Do you want to just select a couple of classifiers? Like, do you have any specific ones in mind? Oh yeah, I also made a note because we talked about potentially having a classifier specifically for the fog.
Or things of the fog or relating to the fog or which I guess if we had the fog classifier and then we had applicatives, we could use that to refine whether it is the fog itself or like right, things from the fog or things in the fog or things like right.
Exactly.
Ha! I love it. Okay. 10 out of 10. Would do.
So in like Navajo, for example, there's a specific classifier for non-compact matter, which would include, I think, things like clouds, but also things like ice cream and mashed potatoes and various other things like that. Anything that's kind of mushy in some way. In fact, is the mushy classifier distinct from the non-compact classifier? I think I might be getting those mixed up. Anyway, the point is that because the fog is such like a central thing about this world, then it might just be sort of considered a separate, like almost elemental thing that will be treated differently from the others. So it might have its own classifier just for the fog.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing that. Okay. So I definitely like that. I don't know if we should like highlight things or bold things, underline things, or bolding works. Yeah. Okay. So then if we start at the top, I feel like having one for human is great. That makes sense. I do like the idea of having like, I kind of like these classifiers here. Like I like the idea of having something that's like dangerous animals and predators and stuff. Cause it could be interesting of like, oh, you named the pillar, like this is the place where all the things that are going to eat you live, you know, and then you could use that classifier with it.
And in fact, the classifier that we coined last week that came from the old word for jaguar or jaguar or jaguar or however we choose to pronounce it today. I mean that's a pretty dangerous animal. So maybe we could repurpose that one specifically for the dangerous one.
I like it. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I like the idea of having something for I mean we could do like the small large animal one. I mean that would definitely track. It could also be interesting to have something that's specifically for like helpful animals, like things that are like livestock or things that are like not like human, but like are more in the human sphere than just completely wild animals, like would include domesticated ones and livestock ones, but also ones that they sort of like utilize for other purposes, maybe. I don't know.
And would that be just distinct from non-dangerous animals? Like would there be a specific one for like domestic animals?
Like a different from dangerous animal, maybe.
And would that also be sensitive to size? would small domestic animals belong to that?
I don't know. I'm not sure what would make the most sense, like having it be completely separate and then also having a small and large animal one just generally, and having it be like small animals, large animals, utilized helpful animals, whatever, and then dangerous animals as like those year 4 animal things, or the flying animals. I'm not sure what would make sense. The all flying well, I guess bugs, but like most flying animals would probably be dragons. Most of them anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, flying animals do have a very distinct role in this world compared to everything else. So
yeah, I think that makes sense too.
That could be a distinction they pay attention to.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like also a lot of the animals that they would utilize aren't necessarily large, and the livestock they do have aren't that big, right? Like they'd have like smaller alpacas, smaller sheep, and then most of the stuff that's like livestock-esque or utilize-esque is going to be smaller. So I'm not sure if it would make sense to have it be like part of large animal or like a sub-classifier of large animal.
We do also have insular dwarfism going on in a lot of things. So on the pillars themselves, most animals will actually be quite small. So maybe, yeah, among the non-flying animals, they would. There could be like a polysemy thing where dangerous. This happens sometimes where dangerous things kind of overlap with big things. Just because the bigger something is, then the more sort of imposing it is, and so therefore, so the dangerous animal could be like the big/dangerous. Well,
Right.
we could combine those.
So would every dragon would have one classifier?
No, so
Not necessarily. Okay.
the classifiers again most of the time will refer to the object. Well, actually, we could do it so that most of the time the classifier will refer to the subject of an intransitive verb and the object of a transitive verb. So if you had a verb like, I don't know, sleep is the intransitive verb that always comes to mind. But if you wanted to come up with a term that means like, I don't know, sleeping dragon or something, then you could have the whatever the dragon would be, like flying animal classifier, and then sleep. So that would literally be like it flying animal sleeps, if you see what I mean. So in that case, the flying animal would refer to the subject. Whereas if you had another verb, like say your the web spinning ones, right? So you could have a verb that means to spit, and then since spit is a transitive verb, the classifier would refer to the thing that they are spitting rather than the dragon themselves. So that would be web, which I guess would be non-compact matter. So they would be like the non-compact matter spitters.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not like all dragons would necessarily take the same classifier. It's more what the dragons do rather than what the dragons are, if you see what I mean.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So flying animal would be distinct from small animal and large animal. And then
if we lump large animal in with dangerous animal, then small animal could also cover livestock.
Yeah.
And then you can have a separate one for insects if you wanted.
Yeah, I think that would make sense to do. Because I'm trying to think, like all the things that they would be domesticating or utilizing for the most part would be much smaller, other than a couple of exceptions, like the dragons that they ride, but then they could have the flying animal classifier. So I think that works. So yeah, we could link those together and then have a separate insect one.
Yeah, because insects are kind of they are suitably different from other animals that they very often get their own thing.
Look at us go. Okay.
And then, as I say, a small roundish object is extremely common. So it would probably make sense to have that.
Okay.
And then, yeah, in terms of the other general categories, like all the ones that refer to shape, that's like, it's up to you how many of those distinctions we pay attention to.
Yeah. I definitely think, well, okay, I do really like having the sharp pointy thing and using that from teeth or something vibes very, very well.
So that would be a sharp object, point, or teeth, which by extension could be like jaws. So you would kind of have to know from context, like if you had a word like I don't know if you can hear that, but there's something crazy going on outside, where there are some very loud crashing noises.
I don't know.
But if you had a verb like I'm trying to think of a decent example. Attack. Sure. Why not? So to attack something with the sharp classifier, it would be kind of ambiguous as to whether the sharp thing referred to like something like a spear or like a weapon of some kind, or if it referred to actual like teeth, like biting or something.
Right.
Which theoretically could be distinguished, because a lot of classifier systems have one for handheld tools.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and again, we do not need to decide on all of them, like right off the bat. We can always come back and make more, or like, yeah, as and when we need to, coming up with names.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Okay. So then area location is usually one?
Yes.
Part of me is wondering if like I mean, okay, this is the little world builder part of my brain, but I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if there were different classifiers for different like pillar types of like, this is a low pillar with swamps, or this is like a high pillar with lots of ice and snow on it. But like, that's the...
That does seem quite specific.
Yes.
A little bit too specific, but like, what you can do is, again, this is something, not that I, nope. Like in Alothwy, there is a term for, as part of the way the world works, there's this dark, shadowy place at the edge of the world, and in Alothwy, it's called Sagwa. And I can't remember if there's a glottal stop at the end of that or not, but the sa is the area classifier, and kwa is a verb that means to be dark. So it means it place darks. Like it's really hard to translate that into English, but like it is dark with respect to location, kind of.
This place says it is dark. Yeah. Okay. I think that one would be useful to have, like something referencing like a place. Definitely the fog. So
Just it occurs to me that we could theoretically combine the area one with the one for collections or containers of small items, because like an area like a forest, it's like a collection of trees.
That could
And
be
like
interesting.
an area is like something that is bounded by some sort of, you know, spatial dimension,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
also
Like,
what a container is, kind of.
yeah. Yeah. It makes me think of, in Osmalau, I have the word for city is a collection of containers of people.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's good. Okay.
So is a
Ooh.
container of people a house or a building?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, this also reminds me of a funny thing that happened with. So one of my patrons at one point was trying to write something in a Lothway, and they were talking about how this person was eating a seal, because that's the main thing that the Alothwi speakers eat, because they live on this like cold tundra island place.
mhm.
So their main source of meat is from seals, and so the patron thought, very fair. They were like, oh, well, a seal is a large animal. And so used the large animal classifier for the seal. But the problem is in a Lothwei, if you're talking about specifically eating something, you have to use the classifier that means flesh, because you're eating the flesh
Mm.
of that animal. Whereas if you use the um, large animal classifier, that implies that you're swallowing the animal whole.
Oh, that's
So,
fun.
yeah, fun little distinctions like that.
Okay. So with flesh, meat, body, would that imply to basically anything that comes from the body? Or like if you were talking about something like horns or scales or
Mm.
like because
I
there's
think
other things they produce, right? Like some would produce like resin or venom or that explosive chemical or
Mm. So I
so
think for that, like for something like horns, I think
mhm.
that would also fall under the sharp object one.
Okay.
Um, and for the web, I think that would be non-compact matter, for example, and
Mhm.
the explosive stuff would be like fire.
Okay.
So there might be some instances where just through like metaphorical extension, like something that comes from the body, like some kind of material, could be covered under the flesh classifier. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Would probably be separate. Okay. Okay. I like the idea of that. I think that makes sense. I like that one. I think we should do that one. Michelle wants to know if we should have a classifier concerning hot dogs and sandwiches and whether or not they would be under the same classifier.
Well, it depends on how we wanted to handle that, because you could very easily just say that the hot dog is a long, slender, flexible thing, and a
Mm,
sandwich is like a flat 2D thing.
mm,
But if the
mm.
word for hot dog is derived from the word for sandwich, then it could just be the word sandwich with some additional thing on it, so it could still retain the older 2D classifier.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you stack classifiers?
um, Theoretically,
Okay.
like, um, you can do that in Nahuatl. It can kind of get tricky sometimes telling who's doing what to who if you do that.
Mm,
Because if you've got like, I don't know, a human, a large animal, and a small round object all stacked at the front of the verb, that means like, I don't know, to hit.
mm, mm.
Who's doing? Is the human hitting the large animal with a rock, or is the animal hitting the human? Or it gets kind of tricky to sort of separate out the roles, unless you do what I did in the Lothwei, and each classifier has a separate form depending on what role it's filling. But that
Mm,
again
mm.
gets quite.
Yeah, that would be a bit more than I would want to tackle here. Okay. What about the color thing? Can we return to the color thing?
This is something that I am not familiar with in any of the systems that I know.
Okay.
I think Jake would probably know much more about such things than me, but
yeah. David said, "Uh-oh." All right, Jake, save us. My assumption with it, and people will have to correct me, would be that it would be like categories of color, because I know different cultures and societies will like distinguish color differences differently. So like it would also come into how many like.
Yeah, I have to say, this is one of the three things that everyone else seems to really love talking about in terms of conlanging that I just don't care about at all. Colors, numbers, and kinship terms. Just, I don't know. I've just never cared, but other people seem to really like delving into the complexities of the. I can't remember the name of the people. There's like the particular model of how color terms evolve in language, which I don't know. I don't find it particularly compelling, but
yeah. It's something that's possible in a conlang. Is it possible in a naturalistic language? Is that the color thing?
I mean, I would suspect that, yeah, having specific classifiers that went with specific colors, like this is the classifier for red things.
Because I thought, yeah,
that does sound like kind of a stretch.
Okay. Because I thought Jake said something about like Amazonian color classifiers, but that might have been. Oh, there are Amazonian classifiers which are color sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Like, the I got there. I'm not sure where I got, but I got there. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I know very little about the situation in the Amazonian languages, but I mean, like, Jake has regaled us with Tales of Bora before, which has its 300 and something classifiers, which I have no doubt that there are some in there that are sensitive to color in some way. But yeah, I correct me if I'm wrong, Jay. I doubt it would be as simple as like this is the classifier for red things, you know. So I would steer clear of that personally.
I do like those. I feel like those are useful. Okay. I'm feeling uninspired by any of these other ones with how we'd use them, but I reserve the right to change my mind if they come up.
Yeah.
Unless you want to like sell me on one of them.
I don't know. Fire seems like it would be reasonably common with dragons.
So but they don't breathe fire, so.
They don't, but to the speakers of this language, and they're not necessarily going to make a distinction between like fire and like an explosive chemical reaction. So if you want to call a dragon like a fire spitter or something. Yeah, those are my seagulls, David.
Yeah, I definitely don't have seagulls here. I'm not too far away from like the ocean, but like definitely way too well. No, I have seen seagulls here, but like not enough that you'd hear them through a window. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. I could see that.
And the water/liquid one would be quite useful for anything aquatic. Like I have in Alothri, there's a specific mythical creature called the Ithragi, which means I think it literally means it goes about in the water. It's just, yeah.
Okay. I'm sold here. Sky. Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, if we have one for flying things or flying animals specifically, then that kind of covers that base. Is there anything else in the sky? I mean, there's clouds, but that could technically be covered by like non-compact matter or fog. Or
Yeah.
gull populations are declining. I have to point that out. There's a lot
Well,
of unnecessary vilification of gulls.
mm,
I'm If Darren Naish were here, he would give a long, detailed explanation about why we should all care about gulls. But
yeah. So, what would you use for non-tangible things? Would that be like non-compact matter?
non-tangible things like emotions or like
Yeah, like emotions or concepts or like stuff
there
like that.
could be one specifically for the mind or thought.
Mm.
Um, in fact, how does I seem to remember Kashaya does something funny with that one. Let me just check.
Mm.
Yeah, so in Kashaya there's a fair few of them, but they are kind of generalized. Like they've got one of them that simultaneously means using a round object,
Okay.
also with flowing water, and the front end, and by shooting or propelling something. So all of that is just wrapped up in one.
Cool.
And yet they have one specific classifier that just means to do something using your finger. So yeah, it's quite a spread.
Wow. Huh.
Yes, and the one for relating to the mind or emotions
Mhm.
is also the one for heat and light, and also quick movements.
Oh. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, do not know
Hmm.
what the etymology of that is.
Yeah. Well, because like heat itself isn't a tangible thing. Neither is light.
Mm,
Like it's an observable thing, but it's not a or
mm.
a
I'm not
yeah.
saying that this is necessarily the origin of that, but there is a very common cross-linguistic association of fire or heat, rather, with strong emotions, especially anger.
Mhm. Yeah, you see that a lot, I think.
Mm.
Mhm. That could be interesting. It could be interesting to add something less tangible with the fire and heat
Mhm.
and with the ice and cold too as like a contrasting thing.
Yeah, I should have talked more about this earlier, but yeah, a lot of these are likely to be metaphorically used, or
Mm,
they have specific idiomatic usage. So, like, if
mhm,
you use the fire classifier, that could specifically mean, to do with fire or heat, or it could just mean that you do something angrily, you know, or like in Ilothwey, the classifier for large, heavy objects
mm,
you use that whenever you want to convey that something happens slowly or ponderously. So, like,
mm,
if you say, like, the old man walked across the room, you would literally say, the old man walked with a large, heavy object, even though no large, heavy object is actually involved. It's just getting across the sense of as if burdened by, like, a great weight, very slowly and ponderously.
I
Uh,
like that. That's cool. Okay, okay. I vibe with it.
um, Yeah, Comanche also has one that just means with the mind.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. I'm gonna like just at the end make a little mind question mark note to maybe add that in if we can't think of other more interesting uses of the ones we have here.
mhm.
Because I feel like that would fit the vibe well to use them in. I can't remember what the word you used was, but that way.
um,
Mm.
so remind me, did you have a list of specific names that you wanted to coin?
Yes. I do. I have a long list of things to name. I don't know which ones would be. I don't know. I mean, like we can pull up, like I can share the list, or if there's a specific category of it that would be more useful.
If there are any that you need, like urgently, or the ones that would be just the most important to come up with names for, we can start with those and think about how we might tackle them.
Okay, so I think the ones that would be the most useful. Probably these. I might just copy them into this document. Would that be helpful? Or should, yeah, okay. We'll just add a naming stuff. And this would technically be like P1, I guess. I'll give that a nice header. So there's those. Let's see. That would, I'm not sure how that's going to copy over. Hold on. It gives links, but those links aren't going to be useful. That's fine. Feel like there's other ones I could utilize, but I feel like those would be the first ones. Maybe Dragon Riders versus these ones. Yeah, I feel like those would be the highest priority ones. There's a lot of other ones, but those would be like the highest priority ones, probably.
Cool. So, where do we want to start?
I don't know. Are place name things or like creature name things easier? Like, I don't know what's easier.
I generally find creature names to be easier because they do more things than places.
That's fair.
Like, places tend to be like, the place of such and such, which isn't quite as
yeah. Well, yeah, because I'll have to like, I mean, we'll know they'll come from like things that happened there or have happened there. So it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, I feel like the creatures, we kind of have what we need here already to name them. Okay.
So we start with the fog monsters.
Okay. Very good. Gonna go through and remove the links just so it's not. Oh no, that's not what I want. Is this even working?
What are you trying to do? To
remove the links.
Remove the links.
So I don't actually take us there.
Yeah, usually there's an option for removing the link, but I can't see it.
It's letting me click it, but I feel like it's not removing the formatting of being a link.
But I'm clicking clear formatting and it's not. Oh, now it's doing it.
Okay. Boom. Wonderful. Okay, cool.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, so the fog stalkers. Do we want? Sorry?
That was a thought. They don't have to be called that. That was just like things I had randomly in margin notes that could.
I mean, that's completely fair. It could be. I mean, we're almost certainly going to use the fog classifier, right?
Yeah.
And then we could optionally include the locative applicative to specifically say that they do things in the fog, like they don't hunt, that they don't stalk the fog. They stalk in the fog.
Yeah. Well, they stalk from the fog, but would that still be like?
We could add a directional on top of that. We don't want the names to come out too long, but
yeah.
Generally, the locative applicative will have kind of a generalized meaning.
Okay.
So it would be understood either way. And then it just depends on what kind of verb we want to use, because it could just be as simple as a verb that means like to go about, to live, or it could be to hunt.
I like hunt.
Stalk. Like hunt?
Yeah.
Okay, we can totally have a root for to hunt.
Yeah.
Cool. Do we want to actually coin that now, or do we want to come up with the etymology for all of these first?
I don't know what would make the most sense. You tell me.
Or let's just see how we go coining the rest of these.
Yes.
That might elucidate some things. Hallucinating cloud spitters. Now that might require some explanation.
Okay, so these are a family of dragons from the venom spitter clade, and they basically spit a cloud of toxin that is a bit hallucinogenic for humans, and people can harvest their venom from their pores and use it as a hallucinogenic drug.
Wow. Cool. So I can imagine this venom, we could totally just use the liquid classifier.
Mm-hmm. Or what about the didn't we have one that was 4 clouds? We
certainly have one for fog. I can't remember if we said there's a separate one for.
Well,
we've got non-compact matter.
Yeah.
If we wanted to, we could have some one done specifically for like clouds or
cloud mist spray type stuff.
Yeah, something. Let me check Navajo one more time, because I'm pretty sure Navajo has. Yeah, so Navajo has one for non-compact matter, which includes things like a bunch of hair or grass, cloud, fog, etc. Whereas it has a separate one for mushy matter, which includes ice cream, mud, a slumped over drunken person. Wow.
Okay, I'll have notes for that. So we could use the cloud classifier then. That means all of those things.
Or, since it's specifically hallucinating, that's to do with the mind.
Ooh. Ooh.
So.
Ooh.
I'm trying to think of what would be the simplest and most efficient way to phrase this, but something that spits something that alters the mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like spit makes sense for the verb.
But what is it that you're doing to the mind? Is it just... Do I have a word for hallucinating a lot? Let me just check. Can't immediately find one.
Oh, would they know that they're hallucinating and that it's a mind effect, or would they think that it gives them like some sort of like ability to see spirits and stuff?
Yeah, that's a good point. It could be a separate classifier for like spirits or like divine, deities, etc.
I think in this case, I'll keep it the direct mind use, just because it's like this is the main like hunting pattern of this dragon. So I feel like they would see it using that to like hunt other dragons and would be like.
I'm just trying to think of what the best verb would be to convey the concept of a hallucination, because like in a Lothwi, the word for to forget is the verb that means to pass with the mind classifier, because if something passes out of your mind, you forget it. So something like that, except with hallucinate. So it's like, I want to say twist. It depends. What kind of hallucinations are we talking about here?
The fun kind.
The fun kind.
Yeah, the kind they'd actually like use as drugs. This one came up when we're like, we need Pillar World drugs. That's where this came in. So we came up with some like various sources of drugs. Spicy vision. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there'd be like a word for like seeing things that aren't there, like a verb for that.
To fool?
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, yes.
To fool or trick or deceive or something along those lines.
Yes. I like that.
And then, yeah, I'm cognizant I don't want these words to be too long. Because if we do like the dragon that spits venom that twists the mind or something like that, that's going to be quite a chunky word. So it could just be the mind fooling dragon or something. We probably do need nominalizations at the end of these as well.
What's a nominalization again?
That turns the verb into a noun. Like we've got the like karartus, the us ending is like the instrument that you use to do something. So it's like the talking with words thing.
Okay.
Right. So could just be as simple as
I just looked I looked up hallucinate, and it's related to the Latin word for dream.
What is the Latin word for dream? Keep thinking oneiros, but that's Greek.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, it could just be as simple as like the mind tricker, the mind tricking animal.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. Yeah, because I'm trying to remember, because I'm not entirely positive if in writing the story for the creatures specifically, if I will use the in-world names or the translation of the in-world names or a combination. You know what I mean? Or like,
yeah.
So I want to like just be noting those.
Yeah. The resin building ones.
Okay.
The resin is modified venom, right?
Yes, it is a modified venom that it's like a two-part thing where they like eject this like denser, stickier resin, and then they have a way of curing it either through a secondary thing that they create or through like some other, or they might acquire it from a plant. I haven't exactly filled that in, but like essentially they make these giant nests and they all live there in like little communities, and people sort of farm them sort of like beehives, but they're significantly bigger and they protect them and stuff.
So there's several different directions we could go. Because when they secrete the resin, is it liquid when it first, like when they first spit it up?
Yeah, it's like maybe like a sap or like a honey, you know, like it's relatively liquid. Like you could spread it like jam, but it's not like water, you know, like it'll stick and stay there and isn't going to just like slip off, you know?
So we could call them, yeah, like the web spitters or something. Although, are these different from the web spitters, or are these a subtype of the web spitters?
These come from the silk producing clade, but that silk producing clade comes from an early branch off of the venom spitting clade.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So we could just call them, yeah, the resin spitters or something. Or we could put more focus on the fact that they build these large structures. So we could call them like the, I don't know, what would you call a large structure of these things? Because it's not a hive, but
yeah. What was I calling it? I think I was just calling it like I don't know. I didn't have a particular name for it. So maybe we just go with resin spitters. It's
or
the
it
thing.
could be something. It doesn't need to have like a specific. Trying to think of a decent example. But the core verb could be like build.
Right. That's true.
Like they build things using resin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
So like you could do make or build.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could say the resin again for any and all of these classifiers. If we want to be more specific, we can just use noun incorporation to get more specific words. So we could just incorporate the word that actually means resin if we wanted to, or if it's just kind of understood from context, we could use the non-compact matter, depending on how long it ended up being.
Yeah. Okay.
And then that would be. We could also potentially use the instrumental applicative, so that like they build using non-compact matter.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I like that. That's what I was guessing that's what we'd want to do. Okay.
The resin builders, I guess.
You know.
Domesticated herd guardians. So these are like sheepdog kind of things.
Yes. So these are yeah, I mean basically they fill a similar role to that. Yeah.
So it could be, if you wanted to be very kind of direct, it could just be a word that's like protect and then the small / domestic animal classifier. So they protect the animals. Or if you didn't want it to be quite so on the nose, it could be something like watch. Like they watch over them, and then could potentially have. We'll have to talk about applicatives in more detail at a later point, but a benefactive applicative. So they don't just watch the animals; they watch for the animals, like for their benefit.
Yeah, yeah.
They look out for them. A med cat dragon.
Yes.
A cat dragon who is a trained medic.
Medium. That's medium. Those are the ones we were talking about before that come from that one.
Anuognathus ones, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like they hunt insects. They're specifically the ones that are from like warmer areas. And they hunt pests. They're very cute. They're domesticated in the manner of like barn cats, where they're not like very agile hunters, and they have the same thing where the wings can like bend in, so they can kind of like tuck in really cute and be super fuzzy. Can you spell out the reference? Wait, I have them right here. I will show you the cute pictures.
ANUR. In fact, why am I spelling it verbally? I can just write it in the chat.
Okay, I have 2 pictures for you. This is of critical importance. And take it over. All right. Aren't they precious? And also, look at them, all curled up, hiding, ready to jump up and eat some bugs. You're welcome. Okay.
They are lovely.
There we go. I know they're so cute.
So what do you think is like the most defining thing that these cat dragons do?
I mean, the most distinct thing about them is probably the fact that they're very good aerial predators. Like they're really, really like I feel like that would be notable with their mannerisms. Either that or just their overarching just adorableness. I feel like we could go either direction.
Because we could call them something like if we used an intransitive verb, if we had something like to move, which would specifically be intransitive, because English doesn't help us with that, because English is so like loose with the way that transitivity works. Because in English you can say like I move, and that means I myself am moving. Or you could say like I moved, the box. That means I am doing something to the box. So that's just weird. But this language won't work like that. So if we have a specific verb that means for something to move on its own as an intransitive,
Yeah.
then we could put the flying animal classifier. So it's like it is the flying animal that moves, and then maybe if we had like an intensive, so like that means an intensive is like it makes the verb into like a stronger meaning.
Yeah,
so if you,
I had those in Osmalau.
Oh yeah, I love intensives. They're very useful. And
Yeah.
we could just off the top of my head, we could do that just something as simple as just reduplication. So if you just say the verb twice, then it means to really do it. So it's not just something that it's not just a moving flying animal. It's a flying animal that really moves.
Okay. Okay.
Moves very quickly and erratically or something.
Okay.
Or if we wanted something a bit more specific, another idea. If we had like an insect classifier,
Yeah.
and then we had a verb like to catch, or maybe to hunt again. So like an insect catcher.
That could make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Either of those work?
Yeah. You're like I'm not sure which one I like better. I feel like it would depend on how we decide to do the intensifier thing and what that ended up looking like. Manure? What, Jake? Yeah. Other people were suggesting they are flying chompers.
Oh.
Funny.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
If we could very well make. What is to chomp? If we had like an intensive of the word bite, maybe. Like it really bites.
Yeah.
That had to be intransitive though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll come back to that. That doesn't quite work because flying animal would need to.
Okay.
That would only work if bite was intransitive. Yeah. But for the time being, when we say bonded dragon mounts.
Yes. These are the ones that they have inserted themselves into the like sort of mating rituals of these like dragons that bond for life but are sexually promiscuous. So they now have been domesticated to bond with the human riders as their life partner, but they like make all their little dragon babies with actual dragons, right? And they're the ones that they like, ride on.
So is this a specific species, or is this like multiple species and like just a particular like subset of the individuals from the species?
Yeah, it would be a specific species.
Okay.
Probably. And there might be like breed equivalents, but like ones that were more bred for certain tasks than others. Sorry to disappoint.
What was I about to say? Yeah, so are these the only dragons that the humans ride?
That currently exist. Yes.
Okay. That seems like a kind of an important distinction they would make. So maybe it could be ride and then maybe with a passive to make it a ridden dragon.
And
then
another option that occurred to me. So the like ritual, the like co-opted mating ritual is like a sort of like dancing type of thing, like a dancing display. So it could be like the dragons we dance with.
Oh. Wow.
That could be cool, right?
I'm trying to think of how that would.
I mean, okay. So I've done this specifically so that every like region of pillars can be a little bit different, and I could have different like magic systems and for reasons and different like ways they would have domesticated animals and ways that like different things would be there and stuff. So I can sort of do very similar but different, or very different but similar things in different places. So technically I have not cut myself out of doing that if I wanted to. Not that I have any desire to do that, but I could. So just putting that out there. Technically, yes, George. But it's like, yeah. And then that becomes their like life partner that they're like bonded with, that like helps protect them and their nest and all that stuff. But they like run around and like, yeah.
So yeah, it could theoretically, if we wanted to get fancy with it, we could use the first person plural. So it would literally mean like we dance with them.
Ooh. I like that.
So the we dance with them dragons.
Ones we dance with or something?
Yeah.
Ooh, I do like that. I feel like it's very fun and interesting. They do some help with that, George, but also the way that their social structures work, the direct relatives, like especially the male relatives of a female dragon, will help care for their young too, because they don't actually have like, that's where their care responsibility comes in. So yeah.
Just like Galapagos hawks.
Yeah.
Except without the human part. Galapagos hawks don't do that, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. There's no breeding pairs. They're sexually entirely promiscuous.
The shaggy or woolly ground egg layer.
Yes. So this is one of the proto-dragons. Yeah, this is one of the proto-dragons, or not proto, that earlier basal clade that still lays eggs. They are a grounded dragon, so they're entirely on the ground and have been for a very long time. And they are in colder climates, and they have like shaggy wool. Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think again, what would be the most defining thing about them?
Probably the wool, because there's other like there are going to be other dragons in this clade that are relatively similar. Like they don't change a lot evolutionarily, so a lot of them are very similar other than like some surface features. So I would say most of the differences here would probably be either visual. There might be, I don't know. Yeah. They don't fly, but
they don't fly. So they definitely wouldn't be a flying animal. I mean, not all of them have to be derived from verbs. Like, just with the way this language is working, it's very easy to derive stuff from verbs. But this could totally just be a word for, like dragon, and then just like hairy, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And nothing else is immediately coming to mind. I guess we could maybe do like a verb like cover
Uh,
in the passive. So it's like
mm,
the hair covered ones, not chair. They're not covered in chairs.
yeah. Could they be like, if we had a verb for like that would be used in regards to laying eggs, could be like they'd be like hairy layers.
Hmm.
Also, hello. I don't know how you would gelot comma. Gelot?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Get looked karma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I actually don't know how common it is to have a specific word that means to lay eggs. I mean, potentially to lay or to like give birth to or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm always wary about going too like scientific with the names.
Yeah.
Like if they say, "Oh, these ones are the egg layers," and that's the thing that makes them distinct. That is quite close to sort of taxonomy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Are the eggs special in any way? Are they different from the eggs of other animals?
No, they'll all be very similar. There are a couple that like are giant and they would lay large eggs, but I feel like they'd all be pretty similar other than size. The ones that do lay eggs, because it's that very limited group that doesn't change a lot evolutionarily. I feel like that word is always wrong when I say it, but
No, that sounds good to me, evolutionarily.
oh, Eva points out there's a bug whose name in Japanese translates to something like thornless, thorny, thorn. So something like flying animals that don't fly wouldn't be unprecedented.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we could just call them like egg layers or something, but
Yeah, but there'd be other egg layers. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's the thing. Is
Yeah.
like,
And these ones are different from that because they're shaggy or woolly, which is like, I don't know if it would make sense to have like this group of dragons specifically is particularly distinct from all other types of dragons, both in that they are a lot more similar to each other and that they are the only ones that lay eggs. So I don't know if it would make sense to have a classifier for creatures that lay eggs, and then we could just specifically like use that. I don't know. And say they're hairy. I don't know.
I do think it is. Yeah, with that in mind, it is less likely that they would be considered a type of dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So they could just be considered a completely different type of animal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to come back to that one.
Yeah, that one's hard. It might like, yeah, there might need to be something else that distinguishes them, because like it would be hard to distinguish them from like, okay, well, we do technically have alpacas too that they brought over from the old world, and like there are other egg layers, so maybe it'll have to be like there's a different defining like visual characteristic or something. I don't know.
Let me just look up. Because I remember Navajo has some very nice names for animals.
Hmm.
If I can find. I can't immediately find a list of Navajo animal names that gives the specific. So So we'll ignore that for the time being. Okay, the ground forest egg layers. Are these related to the shaggy ground egg layers?
Yes, these are just the ones that live in forests and are terrestrial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that also doesn't give us very much to work with. Is there anything in particular that they do that's like very noteworthy?
Okay, let's see. Ground forest egg layers. These ones are particular, like both of these types. Something else that's like notable about the egg layer ones is they are particularly vicious. I don't know if that's helpful. Yeah.
Oh, that's very helpful.
Oh, is it? Okay, good. It's good.
That's because that means we're dealing with a dangerous animal.
Yes. Yes. They do have a wide variety of fur coloration. So they are like colored and patterned, if that would be relevant. Floor scratchers. Yeah. These are our like chicken dragons, except they're like not really. Yeah. They lay eggs and they're dragons. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. I don't think we've yet talked about how adjectives work in. Do we have adjectives in the seedling? I can't remember.
Do we have adjectives? I know we have a lot of. Don't we have a lot of sound things? That's the one thing I do think we have. Like
we've got idiophones, but I don't think we have.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Because if adjectives work in the same way that verbs do, then we could just come up with a verb that just means like to be ferocious or something.
Ooh. That's kind of fun. Like they just like walk around scaring people, being a threat.
Yeah, it might have to go with something a little bit more. Well, not necessarily. We don't need to go for specificity. Just something that distinguishes the forest-living ones from the furry ones.
I mean, could they be like the ferociousing that live in trees? Like tree that come from the trees or come from the maybe like not like it, they don't come from like in the trees, but like from in the forest.
Yeah, that is something that completely lost my train of thought. But for now, if we say to be ferocious or something like that, as a verb,
I like that.
Then these ones specifically live in the forest. So we could just incorporate the word that means forest. And then, yeah, if we have the dangerous animal. So the ferocious, dangerous animals that live in the forest.
Right. Yeah.
Don't know how you want to translate that into the English, but
yeah.
And then a mist cat dragon.
These are similar to the other cat dragons, except they are specifically adapted for hunting in like misty environments and like through not like the fog, capital F fog, but in the upper montane rainforests. So they're very good at still being good flyers even when they have like that limited visibility. When things can't see them as well to look out for them, they're just like, I'm gonna eat you, you know? They eat things in the mist.
Yeah. Yeah, we could totally do that. And then eat the locative applicative. And there we go. That was easy. And the last one is tropical alpacas.
Yes.
Now, we do have a root for alpaca. So unless these tropical alpacas are like so completely different than the usual kind of alpacas that
they're the ones they brought with them. So like I feel like even if they've changed, they would have kept the same, like, you know.
Yeah. So I don't even think we need a separate term for that. We can just use the word for alpaca that we already have. So that's like a no-go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That is just some like preliminary ideas.
Yeah, I like them.
So now with the half an hour that we have left, should we try and get one or more of these named?
Let's do it.
So, which one are we most equipped to name?
I mean, the alpaca will be easy, but I think we already...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've got that one already.
Yeah.
Is there one of these that's like striking you in particular?
I mean, I don't think this one would be easier, but like the dragon mounts would be the one I would probably end up using the first. And people are also very excited for dragon cats, so those are maybe our top 2 contenders for naming.
Okay, well, I think this one is pretty straightforward. Like, even if this isn't the name of the species itself, this could just be a term that you just use to refer to, a mounted dragon.
Okay.
And it would be pretty straightforward. All we need is a verb for to ride. We don't have a passive yet.
Yeah.
We have one for a flying animal. And then this one is... we would need quite a lot of stuff to make that work.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I'm worried about the passive because that involves a whole other set of things. I don't want to tackle person walking either because that's a whole separate thing.
I mean, do we want to just do the cat dragons then? Would those be much easier? Or although we wanted to fix that one potentially.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I'm not sure about.
Yeah. I mean,
shall we start by just coming up with, because a lot of these have the flying animal classifier in them.
Yeah.
So if we just coin that first and foremost.
Okay.
So do you have access to the root generator thing?
Oh, yeah. Let me pull it up. Oh, wait. Okay, proto. Scrolly. There's a fancy link. Root generator. Okay. Generate as list. Okay. That was funny. I'll just copy a bunch and stick them. I'm just going to stick them at the bottom over here real quick. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so there are some. This one cracks me up.
Boo blue.
It should be something. I don't know what, but this one's kind of interesting.
Ute? That's doable.
Yeah. Okay.
So unless you have any other ideas, I think a pretty solid origin for this word would be an old word for bird, even though there aren't any birds in Pillow World, but from before they were transported to this new place, they would have retained a word for bird.
Okay, that would be animals. Just making sure we
Do
didn't
we have a word for bird?
I don't think so, no. I was just double checking.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, we can also always have multiple words for birds. But
okay.
so bird would be an ute, which for this language.
So then we need to put it through the sound changer?
Yes, but we need to specifically attach it to a verb.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It almost doesn't matter what verb it is, just as long as it's on the front of something, because we don't want to lose that final vowel.
Okay. So this, and then one of the verbs from in here. Does that work?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's use
dance.
Dance.
Dance or sacrifice.
Let's go with that. Okay.
Bird dance.
Apply. That gives us hold on. I can find us. Okay. That would give us
in that instance, it undergoes the Grassman's law thing. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do I like that? I'm not sure I do. Hold on, let me just check. When does Grassman's law happen? Early, but not that early. Because I'm very tempted to just say that it. Because if we say that Grassman's law applies, that means that the prefix would change between either ute or utre, depending on the form of the stem, which is fine theoretically.
I feel like it'd be nice if they were more regular so that people could pick up on them more easily.
I'm tempted to say that it only sticks on properly after Grassman's law has already happened.
Okay.
And so that means it would remain as utre, which is a good word for bird, I think. That's a nice word for bird.
So we would keep this? Would that be the...
It would have velarized by this point, so I've lost track of where we are in the document. How are we romanizing it again? Like that? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I like them. Okay.
Okay. Well, that's one element down.
Okay. We did it.
Yeah, that's one thing. If we had Kopiko, we would be celebrating at this point.
I mean, I do have Kopiko. I could go get one.
Ooh. Alas, I do not.
Oh no.
So what else do we want? I'm trying to pick the one that would require us to come up with the least stuff in order to do with what we already have.
What about the fog stalkers? Would those be easy?
So for that, we do need a locative applicative, which I guess we could come up with that if we wanted to.
Yeah.
So first of all, yeah, let's come up with a fog one, because that's another one that's going to be reasonably common.
Yeah, because I feel like we have a word already for fog.
Oh, we do, don't we?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, I'm in the wrong place. Yeah, we did. Yeah. Oh no, it's just the event of arrival of the fog is just the arrival of the Deathbringer or Doom. Although fog could literally just be Deathbringer.
That would be quite a chunky word to
Yeah.
use as a classifier. So I think that would probably be a root.
Yeah. I wonder if it would just come from like the word for death.
I mean, maybe, depending on if they like associate the fog with death, and
I
there's like
feel
some
like
polysemy there. If like the fog is like the death place, it's like if when you die you go into the fog.
yeah, because they
Then
literally so the fog they call it the Deathbringer. So I feel
Hmm.
like it could make sense for a classifier for fog to come from just the word death.
Well, death is quite a short little root there. No, it's just ach, which with what we have, the palatals merge with the velars, so it would be at.
Yeah. Actually, that whole thing does end up very short. That whole word.
Ach, though?
It turns into that. But that's probably because there wasn't anything after that. So the vowel got lost.
I really don't like that cluster. That.
Then we'll just keep it death and we'll go with this. Because I
Okay.
feel like we'd end up, it would be longer if we actually did it like that. So it would just be this then? Would be that?
Yeah.
Okay. Scroll.
And in that case, I think the classifier for fog could also just be used to mean death. You know?
Yeah. I like that. Ooh. Okay.
Okay. And then, yeah, let's try in the remaining 17 minutes. Let's try and get the top one sorted. Why not?
Okay.
So we got fog. Now we need a verb that means to hunt.
Okay. Do we have anything like that? I don't think we have anything relating to hunt. Yeah. So we would have to come up with something new. I mean, could it just be like the word hunt?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly reasonable to say that they have a single root that just means to hunt.
Okay. So then we can scroll down here to our list of crazy stuff.
Or if you wanted to, you could do something a little bit more like to hunt could be a serial verb construction of like to catch and to eat. I've seen that a few times. But either way, completely fair. Probably just for the sake of keeping the root, the word short, it'd be probably better to use like a single root.
Yeah, like or pieces of these or something.
Oh god!
Part of me really wants to be like booblu, just because it would be funny.
Yeah, it really takes the menace out of the dragons if they're called the boobluers.
Blol.
Blolgjerp. And Sotprolb.
What about this one?
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, nice and simple.
No, where did it go? There we go. So then we have hunt. And then we need to put it in front of something else. Apply. Okay, So that would be... Oh, that's kind of fine. I don't know. Jake kind of likes that.
Sounds like a medical exam.
Yeah. Okay. And what was this? This is the word to hunt. This is the verb to hunt.
Yeah.
Which we don't currently... Do we have a place to put, like, words? No.
We should probably
make a section.
Dictionary.
Okay. Dictionary. And it could just be a... a bulleted list for now. To hunt.
Does that just come out as uka?
Yeah.
Now this is a root.
So
right.
It
will be on its own most of the time, and so with the way our sound changes are working, it will have different forms depending on whether or not it's in the second to last syllable or not. So, like, is that what it turns into?
If it's by itself, if I just put that through.
Wow.
Is that okay? I mean, it seems like a pretty core concept.
If it gets reduced down to just one vowel, that's kind of what we could do. Don't know how much sense this actually makes, but we could use that as grounds for suppletion. So, like, suppletion is when two completely different, unrelated words get kind of associated to mean the same thing. Like the classic example in English, the past tense of to go is not goed, it's went. Because went in older English used to be a completely separate word, and go had its own forms. But at some point, for whatever reason, just went started being used more often in the past tense, and go was used in the present and future until the two kind of got smushed together. And that happens a lot with the word go. Like in all the Romance languages, you have different words for go, like completely different roots for the past and future. So maybe in this language, like the verb for to hunt used to be uka in all tenses, but then in whatever situation in which it would come at the end of the root, probably in the present tense, if it gets ground down enough, then they're like, well, we need to have some other verb to clarify that we mean hunt. So then we could have a completely different word for hunt in that tense. I don't know. That's just an idea off the top of my head. But we'll just go with uka for now.
Okay.
Because in this case, it's not going to be the end of the word.
Yeah. Suppletion? I think that's the word. Yeah. Okay.
So I've already forgotten what the word for frog was now. It's ak.
Yeah.
So first element is ak. And then hunt is uka. Okay, now here's the tricky part. Because we need a locative applicative, we need potentially a directional, although I don't think that'll be totally necessary here.
Yeah.
And we need a nominalizer. So,
So
do we start with the applicative or the nominalizer? I think the nominalizer is probably the more important one to nail down. So let's get that done first. Where did we have the us ending?
The what ending?
For the name of the language, Charartus. Us was like the instrumental.
That's right where I am right now, I think. Oh, no, that's the order. I just have that it's there. Oh, is that this down here?
We'll make a table.
Okay.
We'll make a. No, this is specifically the poison death fog, right?
Mm-hmm.
There'll be the different one for like clouds and mist and such things.
Yeah.
Okay, so normalization we've got for an instrument is this. So what kind of normalization do we need in this case? They are the hunters in the fog. So we need an agentive ending. We need something that means something that does such and such. So
What did we do in?
yeah. So we could just use a habitual tense marker. That's something I kind of like to do sometimes. Or it could be just a specific ending that means, one, for example. So like a hunting one.
Okay.
Either way, do we have any particular routes on that list that you're fond of? Again, something relatively simple.
I like it.
And keep in mind, this is something that's going to come up quite a lot. So it should be an ending that we're happy with. Something that you wouldn't mind seeing a lot at the end of words. Like, we don't want every single word to end in booblu, presumably.
What do you mean? What if it was that?
Jin?
Yeah.
Or actually, is that yin? I can never remember if this is IPA, then it would be yin.
It's IPA.
Sure.
There's something like Jin.
Let's give it a try.
Cool. How was
Yeah.
what is
Yeah. Oh, this is for the seed line, isn't it? Yeah. So let's just see how it turns out. I'm getting ahead of myself.
And this would be at the end, so I just put it through normally?
Stick something on the front first.
Okay.
Almost doesn't matter what.
I'll do death. And I just want to see what happens if we do. I can't remember if that's a thing. So it just ends in.
Yeah. As long as you are happy with, like, most, well, maybe not most, but a lot of nouns in this language are going to end in in, because this is like the standard way that you take a verb and turn it into something that does the verb.
I think I'm okay with that. I feel like that's pretty. It's a pretty neutral feeling thing.
That is good. So we'll say that our agent ending is in. So we can stick that on the end there. Okay, now the tricky part is the applicative, because we have to consider there's two very broad places that applicatives can come from.
Okay.
Number one is from adpositional phrases. So, like in this instance, the hunting in the fog. We could literally just take the word that means in or at or something and just get it sucked into the verb. Or we could use, again, serial verb constructions. So something like the, what's a decent word? Like touch or something, or sit. So like they hunt, sit, fog.
Okay.
Do we have any adpositions already in the proto-line?
We did a locative in As Desidio to get that, and I'm trying to find what we used for that because I'm curious. Do you remember, Jake? I feel like I like the abundance of in Turkish.
There is a lot of in Turkish.
It feels very chartreuse, you know. I feel like locative. No. We're not looking for a pomelo cello. No, I don't know what we used for that. Unless unless Jake reminds us of what's going on. But I assume we made a thing for it.
I can't immediately find anything on my end.
Yeah.
So we could just come up with something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which, I mean, keeps them different.
So I'm trying to think of, in terms of positioning, it might make the most sense for the applicatives to be prefixes.
Okay.
They would be more tightly bound with the object. So, like, they hunt in the fog. So, in the fog would be like a single combined phrase. But grammaticalization is the fun part. So, yeah, why don't we just pick a route from the from that list that you had?
Okay, and make it like mean
just
something.
roll with it.
Let's see.
Pew, like Italian.
Yeah, I kind of want to put a handful of them through just to see what they turn out as.
Sure.
So I would need to put something after them.
Yeah.
So let's just like grab a little chunky batch here. Let's just stick them there and add that. Okay. And it's pretty easy to tell where they change. I can't decide if I like this or not.
Pwa.
Yeah. Pwa. Or quack. Quack.
That's not bad.
What do we got? Yeah, I feel like that could work. Trying to pull up what we've got so far for this because I'm curious what it looks like. Okay, pick either pwa or tor.
I would probably go with ter.
Okay, let's do it. So what does that mean? Or is it going to come out of nowhere?
That we can say this is a locative applicative, so
it comes from literally wait. It literally just comes from this?
Oh. Well, we can fudge that a little bit because, in that particular instance, that's just the metathesis of the p and the r switching places, and then there needs to be a vowel there. So, so that would literally just be a T. But we can say that the protoform was actually something like TUR or something, and that would give us the same form. We could take away the aspiration if we wanted to, because we've already got several others that have aspirating stuff.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So it stays exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would it have been originally? Like,
I've lost where I am on the sheet.
oh, we do have this written down. We use the word area. Why did this not come up? Which becomes the locative case.
Ah.
Jot. That's what we had before. But
so we could theoretically do that.
Okay, well, let's write this. Let's note this. If we did that, that would become. Let's get rid of all this other stuff real quick. Shot? Is that what the is that like the
yeah, jot.
Jot. I don't hate that.
Yeah. My only concern, it's not really a concern, it's just a consideration, but if this is coming to mean if this is becoming a locative applicative, then it kind of necessarily has to pass through a stage where it's acting as an adposition, which means that it would have been an adposition in the protolang, which is fine if that's what you're going for. But if you're saying that it's only if that's like a specific thing in Asdosiria,
maybe we make it a. Okay, so maybe we make it a separate thing and stick with this, and we make it
stick with
yeah, which would be.
I really need to clean this up a little bit. I've already lost where I was.
Okay, so then an add position for location or for place or.
Yeah, something meaning like at, in, on, near, within, kind of anything of that nature could be doable. And it's per.
Yeah. Let's just do act.
And then with all of that together, that means that our word for the monsters in the fog would come out as, drum roll please.
I don't know if you can actually hear this or my mic cancels it out. Yeah. Can you hear it? Okay, good.
Oh, but what does schwa go to in stressed syllables? If you just put T-E schwa into the lexifier?
T-E.
Yeah, just T-E-R or T-schwa. Like
that?
Except without the sh in there. Just, yeah. It just goes to tar. So that means that our word for the monsters in the fog would be. We'll try and do this in one go.
How are we spelling these? Well, we don't need to Romanize it, but
I mean, we can like that, and then replace the schwas with. Okay, so it would be Achekatarin. Achekatarin.
Interesting. Okay.
And that would specifically be the singular, because if we wanted to pluralize it, we have to use the verbal plural, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that would be. We have to stick in the.
What's our plural? What was our plural? Is it a beginning thing?
Plural
change.
It's like ro, but I can't remember where in the verb template it goes.
Before the verb, after classifiers, unless hold on.
In this one here, it says it's verb, then verbal plural, then valency. Because
as does it, yeah. Okay, hold on. Yeah. I feel like this is the correct one.
Yeah, it just comes straight after the verb. So
yeah.
In this case, the verb is uka.
Mm-hmm.
And so we stick in, but r in unstressed syllables on rounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it also becomes This is the whole thing about the unstressed vowels are all going to get quite heavily reduced down.
Yeah.
Doesn't that in also get reduced? If you type in just like Turin, like T-schwa-R-I-N.
Still an I.
Still an I?
Yeah. I mean,
you still have I in unstressed syllables. Okay, yeah, that's cool. That's fine.
And this is in P, not P1.
Yes, this is in P. And so in P, the singular would be achakatarin, and the plural would be achakatarin. Achakatarin. Yeah, you have to stick in an extra r syllable. Which I think is kind of fun because it goes right in the middle of the word, whereas you usually expect plurals to like come at the end or something.
Yeah. It is fun. It is fun. I would definitely wait, here we go. Not write this or this in a book. I would either translate it, or if we shortened it to something better in the P1, this would probably be a one that I'd want to use the word for, but we can see. I like the way it sounds.
Is that because of the romanization specifically? Because we can change that.
No, it's mostly just I feel like the length of it combined with the slight weirdness that if someone came across that in a book, right, they'd just be like, whoa, WTF is that? You know what I mean? I feel like that is weird and long enough that it would trigger the WTF.
Well, with some additional sound changes, we can certainly shave that down a bit. We can invoke some vowel loss and
something.
Maybe get rid of the schwas and a few other things. So,
yeah, I don't know.
Like if it was just like akatarin.
I feel like that helps. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that
doable.
would be nice. Yeah. Like I like the way it sounds here, right? Like I like that. But in a book, you know what I'm saying?
I think. Okay, well, we got one of them done.
That would work, yeah. Could get some irregular reduction to akatani.
Yeah.
That is really nice.
Because theoretically, all of these could just become fossilized and then just crunch down some more over time.
Yeah. Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds cool, though.
Akatarin?
Yeah, I like it.
I'm doing that too hard. I consistently do that. It's akatarin.
Akatarin. I like it. It's nice sounding. And they sound like they're little creepy fog stalkers. Like it sounds, like
it sounds kind of wicked.
Yeah. I like it.
In the original sense, not in the sense of cool. Although it does sound pretty cool as well.
That's true. It does both. Cool and nasty. Yes. Very good. I feel like we've accomplished a lot.
Yeah, and we think I think we've laid some important groundwork that hopefully we can. It shouldn't be too difficult to build on this and just flesh out the rest of the names. And then next week we can focus on sound changes to bring them up to speed with P1.
Yeah.
I'll have to think on what sort of things we can do. But that should be fine.
Yeah. I don't feel like we need to do a lot, but like just enough. Yeah. Cool. All right. I'm trying to think. Is there anything different this week? I feel like it's a standard week, all streams considered. I I don't think there's anything weird. I don't think anything's going on. I feel like my brain is like, of course there's a million things going on, but I don't think there's actually anything relevant going on. So I think we're chill and we'll just see everyone next week, right? Yeah. Like Jake says, see you next week. And Jake will be back.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. This was lovely, everybody.
Which was fun.
Oh, you have May 1st off. Yeah, that's for Jake. Ooh, enjoy your day off on May 1st. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Oh, bye.